Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Last week, the red Georgia clay proved treacherous for some, trustworthy for others, as we saw what F4 racing is all about, drafting and making that pass when you need to. Zohair Ahmad was able to slice his way to the front and avoid the mayhem to take the win overall in a pro, with Jack Lindner taking the AM win. This week, we head to the land of awful orange, Boomer Sooner, and beautiful hills nearby with some of the best Mexican and barbecue in the series. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas, live and in color on Apex Racing TV. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this very wet broadcast. My name is Jeremy Scott. Charles Bochel's alongside Jonathan Grabowski. Through the mist, through the fog, is back in the truck plugging in the sights and the sounds of the home of Formula One in the United States. Well, we got a nice surprise for practice. So we saw wet weather, and Charles, you're saying that this is probably the driest we're going to see it all race long.
Yeah, I was looking at the weather forecast a little bit earlier, Jeremy, and it looks like the rain's going to get worse before it gets better. Unless there's a time gap between qualifying and the start of the race, it's going to be quite treacherous out there. And so today's word of the day is going to be patience. Just got to be patient out on the track tonight. This is a very difficult track in dry circumstances, and with the additional wet stuff on the track, it's just going to make it that much worse.
And of course, this track, where it's located, basically it's in the center of Texas. So if you could imagine, you're about a half hour away from hill country, and it's going to be dry as a bone. So this track really doesn't get too wet throughout the year. Yeah,
absolutely. It's one of those. It's very rare to see a race in the wet here, but obviously they've got it turned on today, and so it's going to make, like I said, it's going to make things very difficult for these drivers. It's going to take some patience and some laser-like focus in order to get this car around the track successfully.
Well, as you see, qualifying is underway. We just have a couple of minutes left to go in this session. By the way, if you're curious about track temperature and ambient temperature, well, the track is colder by about almost 2 degrees. So that's something to keep in mind of wind, 18 miles an hour, and it is very wet and only going to get wetter. Anthony Cuthbert, your fastest qualifier so far, 2:24.9. And looking at the driver chat, the Detroit region Discord, they were saying that in practice yesterday, they were getting about 2:08 to 2:09. So with a 30-minute race, I think we're probably going to see 13, 14 laps of action.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be very, very fast. We're going to be setting track records today for sure. It's going to add some. It's going to add some time to each lap, and it's going to make the number of laps a little bit shorter. And it's just one of those that I'm not a great driver to begin with. Probably not nearly as much in the wet as well, but you can see the drivers really struggling on the final sector of this. Is just the rear end just doesn't want to comply, and with the colder track temps, that's going to make that much more difficult to get those tires in the proper operating temp.
So here's also what's interesting. I decided to drudge up what a regular lap time would be in a normal Ligier F4. And it's about 2:11, 2:15. Alex Popov last year when the US F4 championship was here, we ran a 2:11, 8:16 for his pole in about the same car. So it's interesting that iRacing runs about a 2:05, 2:06, and we saw some of those lap times in practice. But so you got to get a general idea of what these cars can do. Of course, this track, two distinct flavors. You've got the first half of the track that is full of S's, then you got the hairpin, and then the long run down the back straightaway. And I like to call it a autocross section.
Yeah, exactly right. I think they talk about this track, and it's a blend. There's features from 3 other world famous F1 tracks, and I don't remember them right off the top of my head. I didn't think to look them up. Silverstone, I'm hearing from Jonathan. I think maybe Monza as well. So there's distinctive sections here that are mimicked after some other F1 tracks, and it makes it it's as you said, a tale of two tracks. You've got one half that's much more flowy and really relies on being able to work the throttle and the brakes and keep the car within the lines. And then you've got the second half, which is almost like drag strips connected together with 90-degree corners. It makes for some pretty interesting racing here, and it's going to be very, very interesting race tonight to see. That's that's not the right line there. As we're on board with Olsen taking it, and yeah, he's missing some body parts. That probably is one of the reasons why he's taking some alternate lines through there. He's missing maybe a tire, I think a front wing as well, the nose clip. So okay, there. So that's done. And he'll go back. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting as qualifying's over. We got Cuthbert up on pole.
4 wheels are better than 3, from what I heard. That whole the 16, 17, 18 complex based off of Turkey, and I think if I remember correctly, the 12, 15 complex that was based off of Hockenheim, the stadium section there. But and honestly, so last year I was there with Porsche Sprint Challenge. It was my first time at the facility. Fantastic facility, hot as hell for May, by the way. Which that's neither here nor there. That turn 1, you think it's steep until you see it in person. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. As we're going to be seeing a lot of that as Drew Leonard almost gets whacked there, but not able to set a time for this qualifying session. So he will start at the back. And guess who else is going to start at the back? Our friend Ethan Ambrewster.
Ethan Ambrewster is going to start at the back. And who's the one that we would normally say? And it's not Ambrewster. It's Armbruster. It's Eric. Where is Eric?
Oh, it's Eric.
Eric, yeah.
I don't see him here.
I don't see him, yeah, so I don't even think he made it to the qualifying tonight. So, I don't know when it's going to close up. So he may not be in tonight's event. So, which is a shame because he's shown such great pace throughout the season to just be shackled by the fact that he's got to start at the back of the field because he's coming in at the very last minute, not able to set a lap time.
And let's also look at how many cars have decided to try and set a lap. 27 cars are attempting to make a lap. There's David Grodzinski. Fastest time for him, a 2:47.2. And I have a feeling that some of these drivers, they're trying to feel out the wet conditions here at COTA. And it was a little bit of a surprise for these competitors to show up. And look at that. You have a lot of dampness on the apexes, which is no surprise. And right into the wall.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those nights that we're gonna be probably getting a lot of replays, I would think, and it may not be crashes. It just may be, they're hitting hydroplaning in certain areas of the track and losing the rear of the car. I mean, these cars, we talk about it kind of week in and week out that they got probably more horsepower than downforce, and it makes it very difficult to drive these things. And in these wet conditions, once again, it's just going to be that much worse. So we'll see how these drivers do. They take their time and get out there and just kind of set clean laps. I think we'll be in for a good race. I think we can get racy at the end, but we've got a lot of just kind of riding around to get done first.
I've got to say this, Jonathan's going to be earning his pay with all the replays because there's going to be some neat shots around here. Yeah, he's really excited as we hear in our little program feed here. But nonetheless, you're on board with Lindner, Jack Lindner, your AM winner last time out at Road Atlanta. Let's see what kind of line that he takes. It does take a little bit higher line through this complex around the tower. That is one thing I didn't do when I was there last time because they had the elevator shut off, and I was not about to get up all those steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably smart. I think the curbs are going to be something you'll want to avoid tonight. Normally you would you push the envelope of track limits to try and gain a tenth here and there. But with the conditions as they are, I don't think that's the proper strategy at night. I think you want to keep that car in between the two white lines on the track, keep them off the white lines, off the curbs, and I think we'll be in for, if everybody does that, we'll be in for a pretty good race because obviously you're gonna find cars that maybe aren't up to your pace. Maybe we'll have some drivers that just really excel in the wet. I've seen that before where, I've seen drivers that, are bit mid-pack to back marker runners. You put them in the wet and they're gangbusters and they're running top fives. So there are people who can do that. I'm not one of those people, but there are people that can. So we'll see if we got some wet runners out there tonight that are going to kind of surprise some folks.
So 21 cars out on the circuit right now to get the practice in here for this final warm-up session. Something that was interesting, you saw the current conditions on the right-hand side of your screen. Most of the lap, they're going to have some sort of crosswind, which is going to make things, I think, a little bit difficult, especially in these wet weather conditions. You're on board with Alex Carter in the AM category. And, they're all getting the practice started, which makes a lot of sense, especially with these awful conditions.
Yeah, and I'm just pulled the radar up again, and the rain is actually about to get worse. So we're about to get more water on the track. So obviously, I don't think conditions are going to be there where we're going to end up, going from a wet to a dry line during the course of the race. So it's just going to be wet running all the way around. And you see, this is very smart. They're running in their in their pack that they would run on the out lap, the pace lap, and just trying to get a feel for what the cars around them are going to do. So it's actually very smart. They're kind of getting prepped for what's about to happen. So it's very smart on the driver's part. Just go out and say, okay, we're just going to run in the pack. You get a good view here of how much or how little vision you have in front. If you're riding behind a car, you see the spray coming up and basically obscuring it. You can just barely see the rain light on the back of the car in front, and he's about 20 meters in front. So it's going to be conditions like that, and obviously the faster they go, the worse that's going to get. The more cars are together, the harder it's going to be to see, and that's just another thing that we're going to have to deal with. Is we're watching some cars kind of squirting off the track a little bit there, and then coming back on, and then you see the view from behind. It's like there's nobody there, and there may not be, but you wouldn't know it by looking.
Yeah, that was off the back of Archie Woods. By the way, the one thing that really frosts my hide are the amount of people when it rains like this, and it's just too dangerous to run. What was it? It was Indy last weekend for the 8-hour. They had to red flag it, obviously, because of the weather. Once they got back to racing, they only got 2 laps in, and then had to go back under safety car conditions. And then they ended up just ending the race under safety car conditions, because if you've never been to Indy, that track floods, period. I actually texted Ryan Marine, who was in the booth, and I go, dude, this is like, this gives me PTSD to shades of the first Grand Am race there, because it poured like crazy. I know a couple of the teams that I knew from the old Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge, and we're going to see a lot of this in turn 1, by the way, as you're seeing there. They actually had their computers destroyed because the jet dryers came and shoved a whole bunch of water onto those pit stands, thus by damaging the computers. But you had a lot of people. We're going to see cars launching all race long, by the way. That's why I'm so calm. There are a lot of people, especially the keyboard warriors, who say, oh, they should be racing in the rain. Back in the 50s, we used to race. We used to race in the rain. It was flooded at Sebring. Here's the picture. Well, here's the thing. These cars have a heck of a lot more under downforce than they did, even 20, 30 years ago. And the drainage, while it's, the best we've seen in years, water's still going to find a place to puddle, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the apex. So I applaud these series that say, you know what, we're going to take safety into effect, red flag, bring everybody in. Now, another thing is, which blew my mind, the European mind couldn't comprehend that we stopped for lightning.
Yeah, exactly right. And that was I was gonna bring that up as I was watching a bit of the race last weekend, and the initial, I think one of the initial red flags was for lightning, which is just, you've got 2 guys up in a metal stand that's watching the race, has got the flags out, and then you've got spectators in the stands that are basically sitting out there in the open. They're higher than everybody else is in the infield, and the one thing you don't want is somebody get struck by lightning because you want to continue a race. That just doesn't make any sense. So I applaud those guys, and it's tough. Obviously, these cars, even the GT cars have air inlets that will soak up water that's from that spray. And when you've got a multi-$100,000 car with a lot of onboard computers, you probably don't want to get them wet. I'm just going to say that. It just doesn't. Electricity and water do not mix. So it's a tough way to have to end the race early because of weather, but the safety involved is more important for not just the spectators, but the people involved, the drivers and the crews as well.
Well, and you and I have been around the block enough times to see the cars when they do have wet conditions, and sometimes there's puddles inside these cockpits, these open cockpits, and that damages the electricity. But what I'm most interested in tonight is the fact that we're going to see some nasty conditions that would red flag a real race.
Right
now, these fans can see, and I would actually use this as some sort of sample of this is why we don't run in awful rain, because you're going to be 1 to 2 car lengths behind a car and you're not going to see that rain light. Well, if they slow down, you're going to be up and over the top of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that live in areas like me that don't get a lot of snow, I have been exposed to it, and I have driven in it. In a normal road car. It's just one of those things that you can't make any sudden movement. So you get a car in front that loses adhesion to the track or brakes, and you're not expecting it. Then you've got to put your brakes on. And, in conditions like this, it's almost an instant lockup if you go past about 40% on your brake pressure. So it's just, as you see it right there, just saw it happen. So it's just one of those things that as soon as you do anything suddenly in this car, in this type of conditions, you lose control and you're a passenger at that point. So yeah, everybody's going to get a good look at why races will sometimes be stopped because of conditions like this.
And of course, also for those who are new to watching this, I do see we have about 14 people watching the stream as of now. But for those who are new to watching, you might see some drivers take what the Europeans call the karting line. We call it the rain line, because the higher you go off of the racing line, the more grip you're going to have, because all that water is sitting there on top of the racing rubber. So that's going to be something to watch out for as well. All right, we normally around this time we talk about last week's race. Let's go into a brief summary. Long story short, we actually had some real F4 racing. Everybody decided to race instead of run into each other. It was fantastic.
It was some really good racing, and kind of reiterating what you said in your opening, is that Road Atlanta track is exactly what F4 racing is kind of made for. Is you get those long draft straightaways, and you get some good passing, you get some good moves down into braking zones that people make taking over positions, so it was great racing. Last week ended up being really good. We did have a little bit of attrition, but it's only because it's Road Atlanta. It's a very difficult circuit. It doesn't feel like it because it doesn't have that many corners, but just the way these cars react to some of those curbs, especially in some areas that we saw, turn 5, the exit of turn 10B, you just kind of see the conditions for these cars weren't ideal. So yeah, it was really good racing, and once again, I think we'll be in store for a good one tonight if everybody keeps their head about them and just says, okay, let's race to the conditions of the track, not necessarily to the conditions of the guys we're normally racing against.
And because it's an FIA Grade 1 facility, we have a lot of wide open spaces. While that's good, that could also be bad because you're going to have the paint and the grass to really speed you up. So see, like this, you're going to have these instances where these drivers are going to lock up, especially going into the hairpin here, and we're going to see some strange things happen in this 30-minute race.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that the normal racing line is going to have a layer of rubber over the asphalt, and then the rain's going to be on top of that. Makes it very slick. These painted areas are even worse. You'll see, especially cars, it's getting on the brakes. So they maybe have one side of their car on top of a line. It's almost an instant spin as soon as that happens. So yeah, it's going to be one of those that, like I said, you need to keep it between the white lines. If you need to run the rain line, run the rain line, and you'll either nothing else, you'll be out of most people's way. So.
All right, let's take a look at the grid real quick. The grid is actually on the back straight, so a shorter run to the start line. Anthony Cuthbert, your fastest of the 2:24.9. Ryan Goff will be alongside. Zohair Ahmad, last week's winner, will be alongside Dom Bonds in row 2. Row 3, Max Kaiser, welcome to the series with Lincoln Olson. Will he come to the front from 6th spot? Only time will tell. Sean Fritz sits in 7th place, and once again, we don't have a name for the SUPERLAP double lap 5, so we'll call him the Stig in row 8, in 8th. 9th is Sean Gaynor. 10th is Ahmed Beydoun with Hayden Saka in 11th. 12th goes to Nathan Traxler. As we move down further the field, we've got Bruno Canovas in 13th, 14th, Brendan Lotta. And Charles, go ahead and round out our field with Jackson Olsen, 15th.
Yeah, Jackson Olsen starting in 15th, Joel Campbell on the outside of row 8 and 16th. Chris Murray starts in P17, Andrew Herschel 18th. Jack Lindner, last week's AM winner, starts in 19th. William Grayson starts in 20th. Alex Carter in 21st. Ari Reuter in 22nd. David Grudzinski starts in 23rd. Archie Woods, last week's SUPERLAP 005, starting in 24th. Drew Leonard starting in 25th, Ethan Armbruster in 26th. Mike Smith starts in 27th, but I don't think he ever set a time, so I don't know that he's in the session, so it may just be a 26-car grid for tonight.
Well, here's what's interesting, too. Chris Murray actually is in the pits right now, so we'll see what he does as we have 26, maybe 25 cars who are answering the call for today's 30-minute race. And with the lap times, I would say anywhere between 12 and 14 laps are going to be the distance for this race. Charles, any final thoughts before we kind of watch to start with one eye open?
Yeah, just once again, be patient. I will say this, that we've seen a couple of the AM drivers finish up near the top 5 the last couple of weeks. I think because of the conditions tonight, I think it'll be kind of a split grid with the pros maybe having the more experience, maybe getting a little bit of a gap over that AM group, but it may actually be beneficial because we'll have some really good racing amongst those driver classifications.
Well, the field working their way around the tower as the Porsche pace car heads out. And you're thinking, oh, it doesn't look so bad now. Oh, just wait till we start the race and head towards turn number 1. You're watching on board with Anthony Cuthbert, your pole sitter. He's got the preferred line going into 1 as he almost takes out the pace car. You don't want to do that on lap before you even get to the green. As the pace car will pull off here shortly, and it will be a long run coming off the final turn number 20. It's a 20-turn circuit here at Circuit of the Americas, just outside of Austin. Thanks for joining us on Apex Racing TV. Sit back, hold on, and enjoy yourself for 30 minutes of F4 racing from America's home for F1. Eyes on the starter as we start to pick up the speed, pick up the pace. We are green as we go 2, 3, 4 wide already for the start. I'm already holding my breath here as this is going to be a wicked wild start, and you see already how the rooster tails are already causing some sort of visibility problems for those at the back. So far, so good, as everybody has pointed straight coming off of turn 1. So they've taken practice, Charles, and they've actually learned a lot from it.
They absolutely have. Yeah, it looks like we've got a good start. We've only had a couple of cars drop down. But a couple positions, nothing much. We did have Ari Reuter with a big jump up 5 positions already since the start.
Yeah, Reuter up 5. I saw Jack Lindner up 6 right now. So far, so good. Canovas with a slowdown penalty. And we're going to see that a lot through the S's because it's really easy just to drop an extra wheel over there. And I've done it in the service. I'm sure you have as well. Nice little slide by Lincoln Olson. Olson already up 3 spots, and he's trying to go for that second place with Ryan Goff.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, the visibility is almost down to nothing. As they come down, and we're getting ready to start the big run down out of the hairpin. As we see a car going wide, that's I believe that's that maybe was a little bit wide there coming out of the hairpin. Now we got the long drag race down the back stretch, heading into the next corner, and you can just see. You can't really see anything at this rate. It's just you see the first couple of cars, and that is about it. And we see the one car, 41, diving in. Oh, and then we got a spin there. Don't know if he had help or not. We got another spin there. Oh, now we've got big trouble.
Well, at least they waited until turn number 12 to create mayhem as Goff is off with a missing rear wing. That gives Max Kaiser. We got one well off there. I think it might have been Grodzki.
Yeah,
who went straight off. Max Kaiser is in. Olsen also with the mechanical black.
Yep.
So we're going to really replay from the view of Ryan Goff and Charles. Up just a spin.
Yeah,
he got punted.
Yeah, he does say he got punted because he's missing the rear wing. He didn't make contact with the wall, so he had some assistants that come around. Yeah, just to see the closing there. The 005, the SUPERLAP driver, just kind of missed the braking point there of the car in front and saw the contact. He's missing the front wing. He will have to come in and get that repaired. It's not going to be a pleasant drive running it without maximum air. Oh, and you see Grodzki out on that painted area. That is not a place to be when you're under braking. You got to keep that car on the black.
Yeah, I think that definitely was Olsen who decided to punt Ryan Goff, but that's going to happen. These low visibility issues, you're not going to be able to see what. Oh, and then he gets contact from the 19 as well. That's Sean Fritz as Max Kaiser now's fallen from second. Dom Batts is your leader by about a second, and that's how quick things happen. Grayson with a slowdown penalty. Goff, Olsen, the Stig, actually Goff, both Olsens and the Stig are into the pits as the Stig comes out on the pits. We'll see how many more end up coming out. I did see Lotta with mechanical black and also Campbell with the mechanical black. So this is going to happen a lot this race.
Yeah, it is until they get kind of spread out a bit. Obviously, they're going to have some gaps between them, and we're going to have some challenges for positions here. But I think the field will spread itself out, and we'll lose a lot of those opportunities for multi-car collisions.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stranger things have happened as Zohair Ahmad tries to pick up one spot that he's lost, and he's up to fourth right now. Nice little pass on the inside of turn number 11, and he sets his sights on Cuthbert. Fritz decides to go around as well, so that's a great battle there. You got a close battle for the lead between Bots and Kaiser heading into turn number 12. Let's see if those two can make it out in one piece as they go side by side. Kaiser to the inside. He has it for now, and he's going to get it. It's both Wiggle coming off at turn number 12, heading into 13.
Yeah, it was a good move. And I think what we'll see is as we are getting a little bit further in, you talked about the alternate, the rain line. For the drivers who are running the main line versus the alternate line, you're going to have some collisions in apexes as both cars are coming from different angles in through the corner, and that's going to make some corners a little more difficult than others. Obviously, the more open corners won't be as big an issue, but the hairpin and then that turn 12, you may see some wheel banging going on through those apexes.
We're watching this battle for 11s between Lindner, Woods, and Carter. Carter sitting there in 13th, and there is Woods. That's Archie Woods. He was in the SUPERLAP car last week. This time he's in the number 2, closing in on Jack Lindner. And yeah, you're going to see drivers take some odd lines, and that's mainly due to visibility. And is that Lindner going into the pits? Yes, it is. So Lindner's going into the pits. I'm not sure. Oh, he did have a mechanical black flag. That makes sense. As Saka has a solid black flag. So good, naughty driving there by Saka.
Yeah, that's that. I was just looking. That 17X in basically 2 laps that he's already got. So I'm sure that there's contact involved in that. So some 4Xs, but obviously struggling maybe just a little bit with track limits, which is not unexpected tonight.
We'll take a look at a replay here of Saka. What helped him get the naughty flag as he comes around. Through the S's, going high, and he's going to shortcut the course.
Yep.
And yeah, like we said, that paint is just absolutely awful. He's lucky he was able to save it, but that's more of a problem when you're under braking.
Yeah, it really is. It is a lot more. It's a bigger issue under braking, as we say. Oh, there was a little contact there. That's in turn 1. A couple cars behind Saka making contact with each other as he pulls over, and that's probably another X there. So just trying to get out of the way. But once you cross the lines, if you're going, I think the limit's 40 kph. So if you're 40 kilometers an hour or faster, it is considered an off track in iRacing.
Yeah, that's It's going to be an interesting race, and Zonka's got to keep all toes in line. Fritz, Traxler, and Badoon all in position there for fourth place, now third. As you see, positions are just changing left and right. You take a look at the left-hand side of your screen, the car's going off all over the place. Ahmad now back into second place, so he's got to chase down Kaiser. Kaiser already 5.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, he's already got himself a lead. That means he's been running really, really good laps, very clean laps. Hasn't really made a mistake yet, but he's got to do that for another 23 minutes. So we're seeing the battle here between the Stig and Grudzinski coming down into turn 12. It looks like, Stig has made the pass on the inside. Grudzinski running wide there. So that's a pass made, and that puts the Stig up to 16th. As we see another car off, that's the 16 car of Cuthbert with a spin through that section there. And I did see a lot of cars struggling with that section, just to change the directions and just carrying that's trying to carry as much speed as you can around that triple apex right-hander, and you see was just too much there. So Cuthbert losing it. Luckily, no contact made, so he can continue on, but lost a couple positions in the process.
Well, Kaiser, your leader, as you see on your screen, just ran the fastest lap of the race, 32.990. So he's finding speed where others aren't. And of course, he's missing apexes, except for that one and that one. I'm sure he's going to miss this one, make this one as well. Yeah, he does. But regardless, here's the thing. He's tiptoeing around the circuit and still gaining time. And that, I think, is going to get him in good graces.
Yeah, he's not pushing the limits of the car. He's staying comfortable staying within his driving limit as well as the car's limit. As we saw a car, nice catch by the one car there, Tom Batts. You can see him half sideways coming through the S's there, and managed just to hang on to it.
Watching Ahmed Beydoun sitting in fifth place, 10 seconds behind the leader. He's got about a second behind Bots, and then 2 seconds behind Traxler. And look at that, Sean Fritz. Ooh, you don't want to jump there, especially as we mentioned, four wheels are better than less than that. But Fritz sitting there in third place at the battle for the bottom step of the podium is still there, and Ethan Armbruster was showing out, but still in the race. We see Campbell, Goff, and Canovas, who are all out of the race. Olsen and Lotta still trying to get those repairs done to the cars. We see Bots has gotten around Fritz for the time being. Ethan Armbruster is up. That's why Don Bots went way off. I'm starting to wonder if they're smelling that barbecue over there in the fan section and going, that smells good. Oh, crap, I missed my turn.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is very possible. Somebody's got some brisket going over there somewhere. As we see Bots coming down on the rain line, just lock it up. You see just too much, too late on the brakes and too hard on the brakes. Just locks the fronts up, slides through the corner, loses that fight just a little bit. So obviously, it should have enough speed to get back up there. We'll see. But once again, it's all about you see him there goes Fritz fighting that car.
Yeah, Fritz is off in turn number 18 as he'll get that ultimate racing F4 around a little bit of donuts, but nonetheless able to get back on the legitimate racing 19. Looking, a little bit of a slide job there from the 27 of Reuter as we watch the onboard, and just the back end. We're going to see a lot of the back end step out on these drivers. It's just a matter of how they're going to catch them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly right. And that, once again, that's that triple apex right-hander. That's difficult. Oh, there's contact. And that's the 69 and Bots in the one. That is Beydoun and Bots, and that is we got meatballs popping up. We'll see those. Yep, Beydoun's got a meatball. See if Bots has got one as well. Didn't see anything on the front. We'll see. Gets this replay here. So we're coming down into turn 12. See Bots moving to the inside, going to try and late break, and you just see the lock up, and you see him trying to get off and back on the brakes, a little bit of cadence braking there to try and get the car stopped, and just would not allow it to happen.
That's actually turn one as Bots had to back up once again. Let's take a look at the replay again from onboard Bots as he goes to pop out for position. And just too much speed carry into one. Ooh.
Yeah, that's that's a bad beat there for Beydoun, just minding his own business, and here comes a car up behind, and then he gets the call to the pits, and Boss apparently seems to be okay. He's out there running. I'm sure he's got wing damage on that front of that car.
Somebody lost their wing.
Oh, somebody's lost a wing. That's a 16.
That was Cuthbert who lost his wing. Let's see if we can take a look at the damage on Beydoun as well, because Beydoun looks like he's crab walking just a little bit, but still that meatball flag is out, and yeah, he's definitely crab walking. He might be done for the day.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come in. That's I think each corner is like 2 to 4 minutes of repair time. So he knows that once he gets in, he's going to be done. But he's just out trying to ride around. He's got to come in within 3 laps to get that served. I don't think he's going to be able to run it to the end of the race. So he will have to come into the pits as we see Cuthbert struggling, trying to get that car back to.
Let's see what Cuthbert has happened to him as he comes around turn 11 and just whack right into the side of Ethan Armbruster. I'm sure Armbruster didn't like that little slap job there, but nonetheless, he's back. They're all back underway. Fritz and Lotta still have the meatball flags in the pits as Olsen is back out onto the circuit, albeit 3 laps down. We're almost halfway through this race, and we're working lap number 6 as Max Kaiser's your leader. There's William Grayson in the number 11, about 3 seconds behind your 10th place finisher runner right now, Alex Carter. Drew Liner as Grayson goes off as well. There's your leader, Max Kaiser, and Woods trying to battle Armbruster for that 7th place, gets it for the time being, and Woods is going to go off circuit. So Armbruster, the smarter man there in the battle, says, you know what? Go ahead, take the outside, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And Armbruster's making that work because he's up 19 positions since the start of the race. So he is having a fantastic run. He's, I'm just looking at his lap times. He's not, necessarily, he's not not as quick as the top 5, but he's just been quicker than most everybody else that's down beyond the top 5. And Kaiser is, I think, the last lap 2 seconds a lap faster than P2 Ahmad. So he has absolutely got it exactly where he wants it. He's got his line, and he is driving it to perfection thus far.
There's the all gold of Gainer with Ari Reuter sitting back there in the 5th spot. I'm thinking of every incident we have, and the poor Jonathan's going to be busy putting the highlight reel together because there's just everywhere you look, we have some sort of issue. And if anybody deserves a bonus today, it's him, because we're just 2 guys here calling this stupid action.
Yep, pretty much. Jonathan is the guy that's doing all the work for real as we're coming down into 12. And going to get contact there. And nope, it's all good. So we got a little battle here. We got into into this section of track. It's a little snake section. I know it's called 13, 14, 15 complex. It's just very difficult. For me, it just drives me crazy because I want to get back on the throttle. You just can't really do it there. Once you get out of that final corner, and then you head into that triple apex right, and you see them working side by side, still running well out there. You got to be very careful. This is where the cars have been kind of losing the rear. Both cars successfully navigating it. So great job by both Reuter and Gainer that he's fighting with. So good run so far, and Reuter getting the position. Now it's going to be Gainer getting the draft. What little bit of draft there's going to be heading up into turn 1, so we'll keep an eye on this one.
Going to the chat real quick. Woods Nicole 33 on YouTube says, brisket. Now I'm smelling it. I will say, so when we were there, yes, we wanted to do barbecue. But my wife is when we go to racetracks, she does all the research. Okay, where are we going to eat? What are we going to do when we're not at the racetrack? Which, as you know as well as I do, is not very much time. So she found this. She found this Mexican place, true Mexican. We're not talking Tex-Mex because we get a lot of those out here in the Chicagoland area. But a true Mexican place. I can't remember the name of it. It was pricey, but the best Mexican I've ever had in my life.
See that now I'm hungry. So now, yeah, I'll take some good Mexican any day of the week, yeah. But I think I would take barbecue first, just to be fair, just to be honest about it. I think I'd have a pulled pork sandwich or some brisket over Mexican anytime.
I'm lucky to have a good barbecue joint not too far away from me. So when I don't want to smoke anything, I'll just go there, and it's the best in the area. So that helps. It's Texan style too. So watch this battle for 10th place between the Stig Carter and Leonard, I should say, as Leonard's closing in. By the way, your top AM driver right now, that's Archie Woods in the number 2, 17 spots up in 7th place. Ethan Armbruster also up 17. I should say Ari Reuter is up 18 spots, but he is a pro driver. And look at how close they are around turn number 11, almost nose to tail, as Gaynor does get ahead of Reuter. Those two are going neck and neck, heading off the back straightaway. Well, there goes Reuter into the runoff.
Yeah, both cars went wide coming through there. So Reuter able to hang on to the position because both cars, you see them coming down the straightaway here, and they're going to get to the braking zone. And, you see Gaynor just starting to squirm. And, yeah, there's Reuter around through the braking zone, and then Gaynor as well. And then both that come back on the track. Is Gaynor going to lose this coming back on? He is not. But then you see the car on the outside that's going to kind of keep him pinched down as they're working through 13 and 14 there. Gaynor losing a position there in that battle with Reuter, and that is Herschel, who is now jumped up into P5.
So, we've seen this a lot, and really this is the closest battle of the race, with Herschel closing in on Gaynor. You see Herschel taking that middle-of-the-road approach. Let's see how he does through turn number 1, and look at that. You can't even see Gaynor out the back. Well, I mean, granted, he's so far back, but that's not the point. That's the kind of aerodynamics that these cars run. I like to call them F-1600s with wings, because that's basically what they are. And there's not much aerodynamics to it. So if you can master a 1600 in the wet, you can master one of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a pretty good equivalency there. Because the Formula 4 is just basically there's no downforce. It's just all mechanical grip. So if you can get that car around the track, you do pretty well with cars with wings.
Kaiser now opening up an almost 11-second lead as we work lap number 8. Look at that, just the commanding lead. And look, at lap 6 ran the fastest lap of the race with a 32.152. By the way, that next lap he ran a 32.162. So he is all hooked up. This is about what we're going to see here for these races with about 10 minutes left to go. I would say we're probably going to reach lap 12 by the time the race is over. So a little easy Thursday evening drive for the number 41.
Yeah, he's just got to take us, just be patient with it. He doesn't have to push the car. He's got a nice gap behind. He can afford to maybe lift a little bit through some of the corners that are going to battle here between Bots and the 2 car.
He ain't going to make it.
Archie Woods, he's not going to make it. No, straight through the corner there. So Bots is just, he's struggling a little bit with his braking points. He's got to just be a little more patient with that. Maybe lift and brake a little bit earlier. And he's probably losing a second a lap just from taking all the extra off tracks that are involved. And then obviously you got to be conscious of the fact that 17X you're going to get a drive-through penalty, and that's going to really mess you up, because that's about 35 seconds of lost track time.
I like these guys, so I have no problem saying this. It's not a knock against them, because it is absolutely wet. Yeah. But Charles, what is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
And that's the thing that I find is amazing with these drivers going into turn number 12. They're going in hot, they're going offline. I think I can make it. Where they're braking, I would say probably about 100 meters before they normally would, when really, because they're on that long back straightaway, they have to do 200 meters. I could see them doing 100 meters if we were running the NASCAR layout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just knowing the equipment and knowing the track, and we've been out there for almost 22 minutes now. So if you haven't figured out that you need a little extra braking distance, then you may be doing something wrong. So we see that 51 car hanging on for dear life there with Herschel. You see him getting squirmy. And, we didn't even talk about those diamond curbs in the S's there because they haven't been a factor, but those things are absolutely lethal if you ever get on one. It's basically a ramp to low Earth orbit. But because of our track conditions, that has not been in play tonight, which is probably fortunate for these drivers.
Yeah, because I know the FAA's been on high alert. The Austin Bergstrom Airport not too far away, so they want to keep these cars on the ground at a minimum because the planes are probably running about 1,500 feet at the very least. So want to keep those as close to the ground as we can. Ethan Armbruster still with a slowdown penalty to serve. Last lap we saw about 3-4 of those slowdown penalties. So that's given the chance for the Stig to close up on Armbruster. Let's see what he does in turn number 11. And Armbruster flashes, so he might have nerfed himself out of the race.
I think he did. I did not see
there he is.
Flag. Okay, so he just had a basically internet hiccup there for about 5 or 10 seconds. So he is back on the track. That is the most for the people who don't normally play iRacing, that is the most unnerving thing that can happen to a driver. Is you're closing a guy down, you're getting ready to make a move. He'll say, "Where am I going to make this move?" And all of a sudden he just blinks and disappears. And when he comes back, you have no idea where this car is going to be. It could be in front of you, it could be behind you, beside you, inside you. It could just be anywhere. And it is absolutely it will drive you crazy, especially in races where you have drivers that are on different continents, and you're out there trying to run, and you've got blinking going on everywhere.
Chris Stevenson, 5998, says, looks like cool speedboats. I would say more like ski-doos with as small and nimble as these cars are going through the circuit. It's been a very interesting race. It's been a very delicate balance with some of these drivers as we see Ethan Armbruster trying to stay in the bottom half of the top 10 as he tries to hold off the double out 5 of the Stig. That is one of our SUPERLAP drivers. Of course, if you're new to this as well, SUPERLAP, the sponsor of this series and the host of some of the drivers, is actually a sim racing facility in Detroit, which, by the way, so the race that I was in St. Louis for a family wedding, and it was my birthday as well. And my wife's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, let's go find a sim place. Couldn't find one. I come home a couple days later, we're opening a sim place in St. Louis. So thanks. I appreciate that. That's great. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Unfortunately, just a little bit, you were too far advanced there to get involved with that. But yeah, it is kind of cool. And I've been involved with some other ones as well. And I'm not going to blow names out here because I don't want to, this is the DRSCCA putting this on, but I've enjoyed working with SUPERLAP, calling their races here on Apex. It's just having fun with it. There's some really good guys involved in this. They always do a good job, and yeah, that SUPERLAP facility, it's on my bucket list. I'm gonna have to get up there one of these days and check it out.
Yeah, I've got to get out to the downtown Detroit circuit. It's perfect because you've got IMSA, IndyCar, and Indy Next there. So if I get out there this year, I might sneak out to SUPERLAP, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We see the Stig closing in on Armbruster around turn number 11. Now they set themselves up for the long back straightaway. This is where you can catch a draft 0.3 of a second, but with all the spray that you have, why would you? Because you take a look, in spite of getting closer, that car is just disappearing. We see the 005 try and use that normal racing line, and he's going to slow down just a little bit late, and there we go. He's going to go straight off as Don Botts has gotten his 17X as he spins off.
Oh, no.
There you go. Yep. That happened.
Botts getting his drive through. Great move there by the Stig. Coming up on the outside of that corner, getting into the paint and still able to get that car stopped. As we're going to get the replay here of Botts, and it looks like, is he going to make the corner? He is not. He's going to spin. That's a 2X, and that is number 17 or 18, depending on where he was to begin with. So yeah, that 2X is going to cost him probably another off track there as well. Maybe not. Maybe he was slow enough that didn't matter. So we're going to get another replay here. This is our battle that we're following with the Stig and with Armbruster. And this was a very, very, very gutsy move because he got out there and got on that painted white line, and you could see the car wiggle when he did, trying to get onto the brakes. Was able to get back off the line and get the car stopped in time. Great move by the SUPERLAP driver.
No, definitely a great move there because I thought we were going to see him go straight off. And we also saw, by the way, Grodzinski is out of the race, stopped scoring, got the black with the cross flag on it, so he is done for the day from 16th, and he will fall further down the order. He won't fall too much down the order because I think Fritz and Olsen might get him. I know Fritz will, and there goes Gainer. Gainer's around, and he is back underway. And honestly, it's about the calmest I've been for spins because you expect it for these races.
You do, yeah, you kind of do expect it, and that was a great catch by Gainer there to get that car corralled back. He did lose a spot. Looked like Woods got by him, so he did lose about 5 seconds there as Woods made his way through and avoided the half spin from Gainer. So great driving by Woods. Great catch by Gainer as we see Carter now with the meatball flag. So there was an incident somewhere else. Alex Carter somewhere else on the track having a fatal incident as we are going to get a replay here from, so he's already kind of broken there as we see the extra friction there on the left front. And you can see once he put on the brakes, car just spun around, and yep, he said that's probably enough for me.
Yeah, just hook it up, take it back to the pits, and let's see here. We'll get a kind of a view of how he lost that left front, and got nerfed.
Yep,
got nerfed by one driver and nerfed by the same driver.
Yeah, well, he got nerfed because he kind of moved in the braking zone. He kind of tried to shift his line from the outside line to the middle line, and the driver was just trying to slow down and get around him. And just every time that Carter moved, the driver behind him moved in the same spot, and that was eventually just it's kind of inevitable that was going to happen. And so yeah, got punted, and then got punted again for good measure.
Now we're setting ourselves up for a very interesting strategy with Max Kaiser all the way. He hasn't even hit the hairpin. I think that we might that this is the last lap, so I think we might see the checker flag here with Max Kaiser, 16.7 seconds in the lead. Hopefully he joins us in the interview room because I am very curious to see how he did it as Olsen gets a slowdown penalty. Grodzinski is... Here's another interesting thing. Grodzinski's 2 laps down, but he still sits in 15th. I wonder what that one's all about as I'm looking at the gap intervals. Yeah, those are DQ, so we'll see if he goes to the tail end of the line after everything is said and done. But what a flawless race out of Max Kaiser. He has probably been the only driver that we haven't talked about that has caused an incident, and really he's kept his nose clean, just at the fastest lap once again, 29.7. So that time slowly coming down. Charles, I've got to say that this has been a great race out of him.
Yeah, really has. He's just been picture perfect for the entire race. Got out, did have a little bit of early battles with a couple other drivers, but once he got out into the lead and kind of solidified that, he just kind of set sail and just started hitting lap after lap, and he's been at minimum 7/10 faster than everybody else in the field for just the entire race. So he's just absolutely knows what he's doing, and he's been just spot on for the entire event.
To put things into perspective, the next fastest driver, Nathan Traxler, 2:30.46. Kaiser has had a flawless race so far. Great battles all around. Works his way out of turn number 20. Down the front straightaway. Rows his way towards the wall. Checkered flag is out. Max Kaiser is your winner with the fastest lap of the race of a 2:28.569. We've got to wait a whole 18 seconds for Zohair Ahmad, last week's winner, to finish the race. That is how much of a dominant performance the number 41 put on.
Yeah, he's already got his brisket plate as Ahmad's coming through the start finish line now. So he's already celebrating, and with the barbecue, great race by Ahmad. Once again, as we see Traxler crossing P3, this front group of guys did a good job. I mean, there were some incidents there, but for these guys, obviously Kaiser pretty flawless, but the guys behind them also had equally good runs, but just not fast enough to keep up. As we've still got more cars, we've only got the top 5 coming across, and we've been talking for like 2 minutes now.
Yeah, no, it's not a surprise here because a lot of these drivers, they would have incidents, but able to come through really for the amount of wet weather we had here at COTA. I'm very pleased to see only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars out of the race.
Yeah, great. Great job. We had obviously some contact here and there. We've had some meatballs drivers come in, get their car repaired, come back out, continue the race, and we got Dom Batts here, the yo-yo tonight, moving up and moving down, but finishing with the top 10 at the very end there. So great job by Dom to get that car across the line. And we got Murray and then Linder coming in. And who's our fast AM? Is that Archie Woods tonight? So
I think Archie. Yeah, I think Archie's our fastest.
Yeah. So not only who? Herschel.
Might be Herschel. Yeah, might be Herschel.
So Herschel with the fast AM and a P5 with Archie Woods to follow up with his win last week to get a P2 in the AM class. So great drive by those guys. We had three cars tie for hard charger. That's Royer, Archie Woods, and Ethan Armbruster up 18 positions. That's crazy.
No, that is nuts. And of course, I feel bad for all those fans. Look at how sad they look, standing there in the rain watching this race. As Saka comes across the line, he is your last driver to complete the race 3 minutes after our leader Kaiser took the checker flag, and that in and of itself is wild. Let's take a look at the finishing order here as Max Kaiser with a dominating performance, 18 seconds over last week's winner Zohair Ahmad. That's Nathan Traxler, Early Reuter, and Andrew Herschel in your top 5. Archie Woods finishes 6th, 7th goes to the Stig, 8th to Ethan Armbruster, 9th to Sean Gaynor, 10th to Tom Batts, 11th Chris Murray, and Charles 12th Lindner, and 13th Hayden Saka.
Yeah, Drew Leonard finishing in 14th, Alex Carter 15th, Sean Fritz 16th, 17th is David Grudzinski, so falls down after his disqualification. Lincoln Olsen finishing in 18th, Ahmed Beydoun finishing 19th, William Grayson 20th, Anthony Cuthbert 21st, Brendan Latta 22nd, Joel Campbell 23rd, Bruno Canavas finishing in 24th, Ryan Goff 25th, Jackson Olsen finishing in 26th, and Mike Smith did not take the start, will be classified in 27th.
Maybe it's smart on his part because he didn't bend any virtual carbon fiber. So that was, I think, a more interesting race than I thought it was going to be. We saw some great battles, and of course, we saw drivers who learned what happens in the paint when it gets wet.
Yeah, absolutely. They learned about wet paint. They learned about wet curbs. They learned about braking distances in the rain. It doesn't matter if you're on the racing line or if you're on the non-rubbered line. So some great drives. Obviously, Kaiser just classed the field tonight, and Don Batts gave us a show with some of his driving. But great race overall. Yeah, not quite the attrition that we had. I mean, can you think about this? Road America. If you just Road America, and that's all I really need to say. This was a wet race at COTA, a fairly difficult track, and these guys performed very, very well tonight.
I love Road America, but ooh, that was brutal. That was almost like a nightmare. All right, so this one's done and dusted. While we wait to see if we have any interviews, we don't have to rush this week, which is fantastic. Next week is Sonoma, so we go from flat-ish straightaways, sweeping corners, to some of the tightest, hilliest corners you'll see on the circuit.
Yeah, I love Sonoma as a track. I hate driving it, but I love watching racing there. And yeah, the elevation changes, the curbs, the tight corners, the blind corners over crests. It's a great track. You need practice. So if any of the drivers are watching this back, get you a couple hours of practice in, learn that track, and you're going to do well. If you spend a little bit of time getting used to it, you'll do well. I will not be here. I will be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I will try and pick it up and watch it later on as once I get done with 30 hours of airplane flights and bus trips and all that good stuff. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. But I'll miss you guys, and we'll see you when I get back.
Yeah, so that's basically that's the done and dusted for this week at COTA. I'll be back next week, and then I'll be off for a couple weeks myself. My name's Jeremy Scott Charles Bolshell. The other voice you heard, Jonathan Grabowski. Hopefully that the equipment dries out for next week because he made us sound oh so good. Don't forget to keep it between the ditches, even when it's what, God forbid, keep it straight and keep it greasy side down. We'll see you next week here on Apex Racing TV for the SUPERLAP F4 Championship.